Welcome to another episode of Get Real. I'm your host, Tom Lemons, here with Marvin Baynham. He ran in the District 3 Hernando County Commission seat in 2024 and unfortunately did not succeed in that race. The incumbent won that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because there's a lot of issues involving that race, a lot of issues. I want to emphasize that. And we're going to talk about something going on in Hernando County right now involving another county commissioner by the name of Brian Hawkins and some serious allegations made against him. So, but we're going to start. I also welcome my producer, Jay Fernandez.
Good to be here.
All right. So, Marvin, tell me a little bit about yourself and, how you got into politics.
Yeah. So basically, I'm Marvin Baynham, as you know. Been living in this county about 5 years. And what really got me into politics was just looking around the county and observing how our elected officials were treating the citizens. So I couldn't afford to sit on the sidelines and not step up and give the citizens a quality option. So that's what sprung me into action.
So you got a lot of pushback when you ran in that election cycle. And it seems that a lot of the establishment Republicans in Hernando County really didn't like the fact that you were running.
Right. And I want to preface that statement by saying we have a lot of great Republicans in this county. Many of them supported me during my run and said, hey, it's each individual citizen's right to run. So Michael Freshour, Joe Wolf at the Wellington, the president of Wellington, Jim Skakowski, the president of Timber Pines, Kathleen Griffiths, Blake Bell, they all welcomed me and said, hey, give it your best shot. And so, but yeah, like you said, the establishment was not happy about me running against an incumbent, but yeah, have to give the people options.
Right.
Well, why do you think that is?
Oh, we're going to get into that.
Go
ahead.
No,
you go ahead
but
and answer that question because
just quickly.
As most of you have observed, it's a political machine here, and you need certain votes and to control certain commissioners and able to push forth your agendas. So I was a threat to that, costing them a vote, and they will do whatever they could to stop me from getting elected.
Right. So Jay, that was the right question because that's a lot of what we're going to get into.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't seen the videos and the different things that he went through throughout that cycle, but I'm sure he remembers it very well. Let me.
But for just the average person, we need to.
Yeah.
I need to know where we're coming from.
Oh yes.
You guys know a little bit more than we do.
Yes. Now this was just one of the most unbelievable. Now, so let me go back up though. When I say establishment, and I'm glad you did clarify that, saying not everyone in Hernando County.
Correct.
Is part of the good old boy club. A lot of them, we say probably most of them at this point, but there are some good people there.
Right.
And so yeah, I just want to make sure that that's clear. But you were the newcomer.
Yep.
And one of the things that they really jumped on you for, which I don't think they should be doing that to anyone in this country who either just wants to change how they vote or change if they want to be a different party member and run for office in a different party.
Right.
You have a really good backstory on why you made the changes, and I want our audience to hear that backstory.
Right. Okay. So basically, when I became a homeowner, I bought a house. I was 30 years old. Right. Had my second kid. My daughter was 4 years old. My son was newborn. Buying a house, and that's when I really understood, manhood and the essence of becoming a provider for your family and really setting the tone. So it caused me to just dig deeper and challenge myself where I stood spiritually, mentally, financially, and politically. So I went back and really dug into why the Democratic Party has such a stranglehold on the black community. And the information I found was ridiculous at the amount of energy and policies they instituted to put plight on the community. And it worked.
For years and years and years.
For years and years and years, it's been working.
Do you think they were just trying to buy your vote?
Yes,
in a way.
I think the policies they institute just is the opposite of what the Republican Party is about. Personal responsibility, freedom, liberty. They want you to be on government assistance, public housing, food stamps, and I just don't think that's the way. I think individuals have the autonomy to choose where they want their life to go. And in America, that's why our country is so great, is because if you work hard and you excel, no one can stop you.
Good point.
And the other thing that the other caveat to that. What the Democrat Party will do is not only keep them on welfare, try to lie to them about things that aren't true, and the biggest thing that they do is try to demonize the Republican Party
Right.
and say that they're racist,
Right.
or they as a majority, and that's always been the lie. I mean, for the most part.
Right.
And it's just been a disservice to the black community.
Yes.
And hopefully this is turning around quite a bit now.
Oh, absolutely. I think Trump was one of the first.
Trump has done more for the black community, if anybody knows, right? As you know, than any other president ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Trump,
Yeah.
what he did was what I'd never seen a Republican do since in my lifetime of voting and just participating, observing politics. He said, hey, your communities are not doing great. You have no jobs. Give me a chance, basically. Give me a chance. And I never witnessed another Republican do that. And with him doing that, look at his numbers.
Yeah.
Look at his numbers. He's welcomed any and everybody to the party that wants the best for America.
I absolutely believe he's probably
Well, his policies speak for it too. I mean, you look at the policies; they've actually very, very, very much. But most people just look at what the media is telling them every day, and don't look at actually what policies he's put forward that are very, very, very good for all minority communities, not only just the black communities.
Yeah.
Like
And
Trump's
you-
the best for it, but they want to make him look like because
And not just the black community, because that's one of the things. That's one of the mantras that the Democrats also like to do is like divide
Yes.
and say that there are. Why do we have to say
To divide and
this
conquer.
community, that community? Why can't we
Right,
just say
right.
we're doing the best
All
we can for
people.
all
Americans.
people, all
Right.
Americans?
Right.
100. We shouldn't put race involved in anything.
Nope.
The human being.
So okay, so that's really the story he has is what part of what his campaign strategy was to try to let people know this is my background. They're going to call me a Democrat. They're going to say, here's a Democrat trying to run as a Republican. No, he has the same conservative beliefs as any other Republican, and he probably has a better, like I said, because of your reasons for
Right.
becoming a Republican, are
Right.
better than some who aren't. You aren't that way, and so common sense people understand that.
Yeah.
But the establishment used that to just throw mud at him. So his challenger, the incumbent, John Olaco. We've talked about this before with the establishment and one of our senators who kind of runs the show in Hernando County. I think we'll go ahead and say it. Senator Blazin Golia. And he kind of runs and appoints people and pushes people up the level, up the ladder to new positions. And so Olaco is one of his, appointees. So and there's all these things called PACs, right?
Yeah.
And they raise money, and it's a way to it's. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it's a long speech, but you donate money to these PACs. The PACs are used to create these horrible, they can just say anything they want to and get away with it, right? They can messages about the challengers.
Right.
So they did that to Marvin, and oh man, tell us a little bit about what they did with images and AI. Give us your story on that.
So essentially, what's done is these PACs they're called political action committees,
Yep.
and money from special interest flows into these committees, and through these committees, they choose to support or work against candidates. And in my case, people were scrutinizing me for placing my own money in my campaign, self-funding, which I didn't take any special interest money. They made up all type of lies about where my funding was coming from. It was dark interest money. But as you know, campaign finance, it has to be transparent.
That's right.
And who would give me that much money to run? It was my own money. I funded myself.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't want to rely on any PAC. I wanted to remain sovereign.
You
That's
spent
why
about $100,000, didn't you?
Yeah.
Around that?
Yeah.
I think you did.
Spent my own money.
It
What was
all money.
what was your candidate against you spending?
It was about the same.
Okay.
But the difference is when you have a PAC, the PAC is not reported on his personal campaign contributions. It's a
Gotcha.
separate account that they
Okay.
send the money through. So with these PACs, it's anonymous. Well, it's not really anonymous. You can tell the organization that it's coming from, but it's not a name on it.
Can I give you a quick? Are these ways to get around? Like, aren't there campaign finance limits that like only one person can
that's
donate
for
to
the
you?
candidate.
So the candidate. All right.
The
So
PACs can take $1 million. It doesn't
correct.
matter.
So
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So with these PACs, they basically put out mailers. And as we know, fear is the number one motivation factor for humans, either to support or deny fear. So if you get this mailer about Marvin Baynham to your door, to your mailbox, and it says all these things, I don't have the amount of time. And also, I have to combat the amount of money they spent to also change that narrative. So they mail these mailers out all throughout citizens of the county, voters, and I start to receive phone calls and emails and text messages about, hey, what is this? And I'm
It's like a slur campaign is what they're putting against you.
Pretty much a smear campaign. And I'm actually impressed because I'm a challenging candidate, never ran for public office. I just got out and gave my best put my best foot forward, gave my best effort. And for them to smear me is actually a compliment because they felt threatened.
Yes.
They felt threatened, and they felt that, you know, we had a chance to win. So without the smear, who knows how this race would have went?
Right.
But yeah, they smeared me. They sent the sheriffs to my house regarding this petition. So the petition thing was, it was this petition floating around saying that I supported abortion. I had no inclination, remember, sign this petition, right? So I requested information through the supervised elections. They forwarded me a copy. I get a phone call from this independent website. I think it's called Floridian Press. Get a phone call from them saying, hey, we want to interview you about this petition. Florida Politics put out a article saying that Marvin Baynham is being investigated by Hernando County Sheriff. They made a website, the real Marvin Baynham. Like, it was a full-on barrage of things. And I'm not bitter about it. I'm not salty about it. Politics is a blood sport.
But you wouldn't play that game back, right? That's not your style.
I believe as a man, right? Yeah. You should do everything with integrity and ethics, right? And morals.
Yep.
So if I need to do that much to my opponent to win, I don't really want to win. No. You know?
But it's okay to go ahead and tell something that's true about your opponent.
Right.
Like, for instance, with a lot
I think that was all false. It was smear.
But
that's dirty. That's high school stupid stuff.
And the thing is, they didn't start doing that until they realized that he was probably going to win this.
Yeah.
Right. It was towards the end when they really started turning up the juice on that.
When vote by mail went out, that's when it started.
I mean, how do you even combat something like that? Let's say, how do you even that's it. It is what it is. Like dirty boxing.
You can't refute it. It's just too much, too fast. And it's not enough time. By the time vote by mail goes out, you get your vote by mail ballot simultaneously as you're receiving this mailer. You're not going to check. You're not going to vote for Marvin Baynham.
So that's all time. Gotcha.
And you know what?
That's a shame that you lose the best candidates because of something that's not even true. That's terrible.
Right. Yeah. You know what? We got a short video clip of that interaction with the detectives. Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey y'all. So we got Hernando County Sheriff's Office right now at my front door, and I'll have you guys alone for the whole time.
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing?
You're good. I'm Detective Kobe. This is my partner here, Detective Vargas.
Okay. We can go step out here.
Yeah, of course.
Vargas? Yes. How you doing?
Nice to meet you. Announced. We spoke with your wife before.
Okay.
You guys are gonna record the whole time?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna record the whole time? Yep. So the only reason why we're here is that we got some information that you might be the victim of fraud. And as far as this goes, all we're doing is reaching out to you to see if you would like our assistance in documenting that, assistance into looking into that, and that's the whole reason.
See what's going on, man.
So unfortunately, I don't answer any questions, and I would like to obtain my attorney, so I don't feel comfortable asking questions at the moment. Okay. So if you guys leave me your card and information, I'll be glad to seek legal counsel from my attorney.
Of course. And like I said, the whole we're not claiming anything. We were told that you might be a victim in a case.
And could we ask who told you that?
Yes, it was the chairman of the Republican Party.
What is his name?
I don't have that on me. Wait a second.
Do you know who the chairman is?
I do know who the chairman is.
Okay.
Well, could you just tell me his name?
Like I said, I don't have that in my notes. I'm sorry.
So you repeated it was the chairman of the Republican Party?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. His name is Brian Hawkins, Commissioner Brian Hawkins.
Okay.
Just so you know.
So like I said, they reached out. I just figured we'd come out here and offer our services. So if you'd like to make that report, we can. If not, then we will be on our way.
Okay.
You have my number. You can call and we'll go forward, all right?
All right. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for your service.
Not a problem. You have a good one.
Thank you so much for your service. All righty. Have a great day. It's a shame. Shame. I told y'all, they are coming after me like no other. But we gonna fight. We are going to fight.
So that was pretty disturbing. I mean, you see, first of all, I want to comment and say that you never contacted the sheriff's office, did you? They were sent to you.
Yeah, what kind of fraud were they saying you were a victim of? Did you ever find that out?
A petition. They say I signed a petition, and the whole guise of this thing, they wanted to reinforce to the citizens that I was a liar and I wasn't being truthful.
Okay.
And me denying a police report and an investigation would confirm that. But if you understand the justice system And you see what happened to President Trump and throughout our country, what's happened with the justice system. Now, they have the power and the ability to dictate any narrative or any report or an investigation in their favor if they would choose to do so. Mm-hmm. So say for instance, I submit the investigation, right? I submit it. They can go and say, well, we found no fraud. So now you've submitted a false police report.
Yep.
Now,
exactly.
My job is on the line. I'm a first responder. My job is on the line. My likelihood, everything beyond the election is more detrimental to me to do this.
Right.
So I retained an attorney, and I consulted with the attorney about what were my options. He said, hey, listen, man, I've been in this business for a long time. I've seen this happen before. It's just for this moment. But in the event that legal actions, escalate, call me. We'll come up with a plan. I'll represent you. Nothing ever after that moment ever came up about that petition.
Yeah.
What do you think the goal of that was just to really get you just really hemmed up, huh?
Yeah,
Like
just to create chaos and create hysteria.
Yeah.
Leading up to
But
the
you
into
mentioned
Marvin's
something
campaign.
that I haven't heard, sir, because I don't know you that well. But that's what you do. You're a first
I'm
responder.
a
So aren't
firefighter.
you in the same kind of crew as police officers? Wouldn't
Pretty
you be
much
considered-
first responders, yeah.
And I don't
Right.
hold any ill intent versus the men and women of Hernando County Sheriff. They were my brothers
Okay,
and
good.
sisters in arms.
Yes.
I just understood they were a proxy
Correct.
to deliver the bigger job.
And that is not uncommon. And I hate to say it, like you said, I love law enforcement. I think that 95% of them are good, honorable people. I think
Right.
they love their job and do it correctly.
Right.
There are a fringe number of deputies, which we just had one get arrested a couple of days ago on charges, and we had that story on the Rnews.news website. But it happens. And people aren't perfect. People make mistakes. So. But we in Hernando County we seem to have this group of deputies or detectives that work under this sheriff. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but he has this team that seems to do things like they did to you.
Right.
Not just you. Whenever there's something that needs to be squashed, or we need to eliminate something, or stop this from leaking, or what they send out these detectives, these deputies to intimidate.
Right.
And unfortunately, it just happens all the time there.
Tom, do you think just getting the right people in these positions, if the voted in, would stop that? If we get the right people in these positions,
Okay,
if the,
so
if
that
the
is-
community comes
yes.
together and gets the right people. into
That
these
was the
positions.
goal, and that's what the establishment was scared of, because they did. Ryan Amsler was lucky enough to take over an establishment seat.
Right.
So there are two true conservative non-establishment votes on the
Right.
BOCC.
Absolutely.
And three that are still in office.
Okay.
And that was he was dangerous. Marvin was
Yes.
dangerous
Yes.
to the establishment, and
Right.
they spent a lot of money, I guarantee.
Oh yeah.
A
Oh, yeah.
lot
They
of
did
money.
commercials.
Oh, yeah.
About 10 mailers. So it was a
Yeah.
huge amount of effort to stop me to get from
Yeah.
being elected in there.
Yeah. So John Ideological, won the race.
Right.
Was there anything else about that? What other things? And I'm going to go into some other issues. Anything else in that I haven't mentioned where he attacked you? But he really kept his mouth shut.
Right.
He didn't say anything. Right.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
mainly
yeah.
the PACs.
Right. Yeah. The PACs did all the work.
Okay.
But you have that plausible deniability that it didn't come from me. Right. I have nothing to do with it. I have no knowledge of it. I don't have any control of what the PACs do. But it's on your behalf.
Yes,
So
yes.
no one's going to send anything out on the behalf of Marvin Baynham or against my opponent without my approval.
Exactly.
Approval.
Exactly.
So
the best thing for him to do is just not say a word.
Correct.
Be quiet and let the
Correct.
PACs do the work. Right.
Correct.
So they call that dark money, by the way. That's
Yes.
a term for that.
Yes.
So it's really something that I think I don't know what they can do about it, because should there be legislation? Do you think there should be legislation to put an end to these PACs, or at least or regulate them better? or-
Absolutely, because it's attacking candidates, good grassroots candidates, good conservative candidates all over the country. Because as you know, money wins elections. But when you have a candidate put up their own money, and then the PAC just doubles that,
Yes.
I mean, it just becomes no end. Elections will be soon costing $500,000.
Right.
Yeah, that's
To
sad.
win.
It's sad
Yes.
that most money
And
wins the
our
game.
founding fathers were just normal guys.
Right.
You know,
They didn't
normal
have
everyday
PACs.
guys. They didn't have any PACs.
sure?
They didn't have any of these tools. They just stood on liberty and principality
Yeah.
and governed that way. But
Yeah.
what politics has evolved into now, present day, it's scary.
Yeah.
But I believe
it
it's
really
our
is.
fault. It's our fault that
It
we
is.
allow that kind of stuff. That we
Absolutely.
allow somebody to like send a flyer and influence
Absolutely.
how I feel about somebody
And
when they
the
probably
pol-
don't even know.
And the political consultants understand. tendencies of these voters. They study the voters. They target them specifically, and they know it works because if these consultants knew spending just say $100,000 plus against a candidate would not work, they wouldn't do it.
Right.
They would not do it.
Let me ask you something here that you don't. So if you were going to send out a mailer pack for a political thing, would I be able to know what addresses were Democrats and Republicans?
Absolutely. They have targeted voter
targeted
data.
like that.
And they study you all throughout the year. They know a lot about you as a voter.
Yes.
And they specifically target young voters, older voters, and
That's horrible.
works.
Well, I'm going to say one last thing about that. The problem is the people who would make changes to that two PACs, legislators, are the same legislators who use PACs to get in the office.
Right,
So
correct.
we're not going to get that changed.
Correct.
This episode of Get Real is brought to you by Tri-Peak Roofers, your Hernando County roofer.
All right. So moving on to another topic here. I did a story on, again, for those who don't know, I also report news on Rnews.news, and recently did a story on another county commissioner by the name of Brian Hawkins. Actually, he's the chairman of the BOCC right now. And there's some allegations thrown out there, and pretty solid facts, actually, but a lot of it's some innuendo and some unsubstantiated information. But and we'll get into it pretty deep because I wrote an article on this, and apparently there was let me just get a foundation on this. The Commissioner's Champion, Steve Champion, it's a couple of weeks ago, the last meeting, there was an agenda item about a piece of property in Brooksville that was going to be used for the IT department. It was going to be a lease, and apparently Brian Hawkins owned that property and then sold it in January to the county's, again, a private person, but the county's real estate broker for a large profit. And you know, I know there's some, he makes the reason, the argument that he didn't make any money on it, but it was a pretty large profit, around $875,000, I think it was. That's not the profit. I'm sorry, the total sale. But so Robert Buckner is the county's real estate broker. So now, in exchange for that, this is where it gets shady. Robert Buckner can turn around and lease. There was the agenda item was to lease the property from Buckner to the county for almost $1 million, or actually probably more than $1 million, over the course of several years, at about $81,000 a year. When, and if you're, hope people are following this, when there was another person, another business willing to lease that property for about $41,000 a year. So, does it seem like there's a quid pro quo there? What do you think, Marvin?
I would say I believe in due process and allowing all the factual evidence to come out before we allude. We can allude and say what we see, and it does appear not to be ethical. But if we don't have all the information, I would like to see all the information come out, and then we can definitively say what's going on in this case.
And that's the proper way to handle it. And again, you say due process, but do you think due process should take place as in an ethics committee investigation? Oh,
absolutely. If we submit the proper information to the proper officials, I think that the citizens deserve a statement. They deserve a statement as far as what's going on in their county and what actions their elected officials are carrying out.
Right. This is one of the concerns that the constituents, the taxpayers, have voiced for years and years, and it always comes across as, and I mean in social media comments and in emails that I receive, we don't need to have real estate agents as commissioners. That is what everyone says, and it's like, and this now it's come to this, and people are like, see, I told you so. This is why. And we do have three real estate agents. I think.
Yeah, now we lost one. So
okay.
yeah,
I think Alaco.
Something.
Well, I think Alaco and Hawkins. Just Alaco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Alaco.
But that is the problem, is that people see that, the optics of that, you can take advantage of that. And if it wasn't for information coming forward to Commissioner Steve Champion, who sounded the alarm about that during the meeting, says, hey, this doesn't look right. I'm not accusing you of anything, Brian, Mr. Hawkins, but like I said, the optics of this and he said, I don't want any part of this. And the other issue is and I want to tell you this too, because I didn't get into the facts, is that there's the question whether Brian Hawkins should have recused himself before the agenda item even came in front of the board.
Right.
And so I talked to the county attorney, John Jobin. Jobin, yep. And he sent me a pretty detailed response. Now, of course, he cannot comment and give an opinion because he does represent the commissioners, right?
Correct.
But he did provide some information that kind of answered the question I was looking for, which was the commissioners are obligated to vote on every item. They must do their job and vote. However, if something, matter of fact, it says a county commissioner can only abstain to avoid the appearance of impropriety if the existence of the underlying facts could lead to an objective observer to conclude that he or she would be voting on a matter that would inure to his or her special private gain or loss. That is a statute. And this does not look right.
No.
And that's when he has the obligation to say, I need to abstain from this.
Right.
So there's the question. And again, like you said, needs to go in front of an ethics committee. Someone, I don't know, and John Jobin would not answer that question if he had to submit that to an ethics.
Right.
For an ethics. So we know if anyone else has. But, I mean, that's not, so, again, what if you were in that position? What if you had won your race?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot now. I know it's tough to answer these questions because I don't want you to, say something you don't want to say.
Right.
But if you were a commissioner, obviously Steve Champion he says whatever's on his mind.
Yeah.
And that guy, I just love that guy. He says whatever, and he means it, and he truly is there to protect the taxpayers.
Right.
And a lot of people think that you would have been the better person, the better choice for Ideological. So what would you have done if you were on that board and on that day and found out the same information that Champion revealed?
So if in that present moment, in that same situation, I would have definitely, I'm big on transparency, big on accountability, integrity. I would have shared the same sentiments. We need to get to the bottom of this, just ensure there's no impropriety going on, there's no backdoor deals, and just sure that we're being transparent and holding ourselves to the same standard as we expect our citizens to hold themselves to, because most citizens don't understand, but they're in charge of the BOCC. The citizens have the power. It's the same as we the people, The citizens of Hernando County, that's who everyone answers to.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask something. Do you think state governments should do the exact that the federal government's doing, like right now, with like what Trump and Musk are doing?
As far as
just Doge.
So
and all
yes,
that?
we
Do you feel that should take
have
that to
so
state?
much government waste and inefficiency, and I'm surprised it took this long for someone to sound the alarm and just bring it to the forefront, because we spend so much money and we are so inefficient.
I think it's because it's not our money.
Right. And
if I was in charge of the money and it's not my money, I probably wouldn't care. But if it's your bank account, you're going to really care.
And taxes.
But it really is our bank account.
We have a lot of citizens in Hernando County that's on fixed income. Mm-hmm. They bought their homes and properties, a long time ago, paid them off, and the taxes are increasing at an alarming amount. We had a big tax hike in 2018, where we raised the millage about $1 million, and we tout that we're cutting taxes. We're slowly cutting it down by $250,000 each year, which we're just getting back to over that mill increase. But citizens, we have to find a way to be more efficient and just save the taxpayers some money, help the people out in these tough economic times.
Well, another mandate from the last election was that the 1% sales tax did not pass. Now, not saying it wouldn't have been a good thing for the county.
Education, right?
It's a sales tax. You don't think it would have been?
No, I don't think it would have been a good thing.
So, this is the argument, right? Some people say it would have been because it's sales tax, right? But then the other argument is
You already taxed on
they wanted, just for instance, they had this master plan of like $350 million to rebuild the entire sheriff's department. I believe, and a lot of people say this, have told me this, that's the reason I didn't vote for it, and that's the reason it failed. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
So my thoughts on it, first and foremost, I believe that taxation is theft. We need to abolish all these taxes, get rid of income tax, get rid of all. You need some taxes for services, right? Just for the municipalities to recommended necessary services. We need that. I'm not alluding to we don't need any taxes. But that 1% sales tax, I'll just give you a little back. So it was for 30 years, and it was going to generate about $39 million a year. So over the course of 30 years, $2 billion. $2 billion, right? In Hernando County.
Right,
$2 billion.
Right.
So I would have liked to see the term to be shorter. Pasco did a similar 1% sales tax, and they did it over the course of a 10-year period, and they have renewed it for 3 years.
Okay.
They have renewed it for 3 years. So
they don't do a 30-year. They
don't do a 30-year.
give you time to change your mind. if you
So
want.
give the citizens, put some skin in the game. Give the citizens confirmation that you will be good stewards of this surplus of tax dollars. And if you examine the literature and all the information that was put out, you would see that it was inconsistent. It was things about adding funding to economic development. Economic development is one of those other things that under the guide so you can use these
It's
terms.
very vague.
Right. You can use these terms, and when it comes down to it, you can even appoint. They'll say, okay, we'll appoint an accountability group. These appointments, if I put people on this group that's going to reinforce my narrative and support whatever I'm going to say, then we don't have a group.
Correct.
So I just was not comfortable with the terms of it. Correct. I was not comfortable with the terms of it. And I would like to see a little bit more short-term vision to accomplish these goals.
Right.
And then we renew it for another 10 years if you do good. And then we renew it for another 10 years if you did well as well there. So
The CJ, don't you, when you listen to what he says, does that not sound like
No,
a
it all
common
makes
sense
sense.
person?
Yeah, it all makes
And not
sense.
like the same old.
No, that's what we like. That's what I like Marvin.
You know.
When I met him the
I
other
would
night,
like to see-
we liked him right away. I liked him. He's a good guy.
You make good points about that. And again, because I hadn't thought about the term. The term of how
of
many
it-
years.
Yeah,
that
because
they
you're
would
just
have.
accountability. It's all about accountability.
And
That's
if you give the county $2 billion for 30 years, they don't have to listen to you or answer to you anymore.
No.
And what also is, we talked about PACs. So let me give you this scenario. Say we earmarked a certain amount of dollars for road construction. You can have everyone submit a bid to this, to this job. Say you're going to pave Barclay or wherever you're going to pave. And you can now have those companies with some other groups, because it's going to be big millions of dollars. You can have them say, okay, we're going to award you this contract, but guess what? You're going to support all the people who voting for the next 30 years.
Wow. So many things that people don't think
$2
about.
billion.
Wow.
How many companies, industries will fight to get a piece of that $2 billion pie?
Yeah.
And that's all services you can do. You can do IT services, construction, anything that the government spends money on, you can give a contract to. And they'll say, oh, yeah, it went through the right process, it went through the right steps, but we all know. We all know. You know what I'm saying? So that alarms me, and I just wouldn't want to relinquish that much power and just not have say for 30 years. They don't have to listen to me anymore.
Yeah.
I have the money. We have the checkbook.
Yeah.
Don't talk to us.
Yep, I know. And it's the same thing, kind of the same principle as with our constitutional officers, right? I mean, they're given their money, whatever they ask for, they get it. They could say, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this.
Correct.
They don't have to do that.
Correct.
They can take the money and go buy a bunch of robots or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. They can. That is. I don't think that's right either. But that's one of those things where I think that's that shouldn't be going on either. And let me ask you this though: we talk about these things that our current commissioners, or the majority on the board. Do you get the sense that they're trying to dupe the taxpayer? Number one, are they more liberal than conservatives?
So I would say, based on voting record, Commissioner Champion is the unapologetically conservative. Ryan Amsler, newcomer, he's demonstrated that his votes have been very conservative. So right now we have two out of the three that are clear, but seems that it's a voting blocks, and it's been 3-2 as it's been. Just look at the animal shelter; it was 3-2, and with all the supporting evidence not to turn over the Edelman shelter, we still voted 3-2 to do it. Right. But so yeah, we have two good votes, and they need another vote to
one more
tilt the power in the favor of the people,
right,
and just really ensure that we're being good stewards of all things for the citizen of Hernando County.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to run again?
Yes, I intend to run again for county commission. That was one of the tactics to scare me away, make this the worst experience of my life, and never, ever want to enter politics. But it actually reinforced.
Yes.
Reinforced.
Right.
In this county, we have some of the best citizens that I've ever encountered. Mm-hmm. During the campaign, everybody was very respectful, very nice to me, thanked me for what I did, took genuine interest in me as a person, my family, my candidacy. I'm door knocking, they give me water, offer me lunch. So I said to myself, how could you not want to run through a wall for a group of citizens like that?
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. All things I didn't win. In life, it's only two things, winning and losing. I am not blaming. I didn't get it done.
You didn't lose.
I'm taking full responsibility for me not getting across the finish line.
Yeah.
And we will do better in the future. But yeah, I do intend to run again.
That's fantastic.
Just real quick, how many kids do you have, Marvin?
Two kids. Two kids.
Okay.
7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Good.
And girls or boys,
That's
stuff like that.
One girl, one boy.
Excellent. Great.
It's trouble.
Great. Gotta have both. Yes, but so what about the Doge? I mean, now Amsler, and Champion have both, and I think Amsler's going to be in charge of that. But the Doge, the Hernando County Doge, they're putting together a committee to try to do the same thing they do in the federal government.
Right.
And again, this kind of plays on the whole thing.
Right.
We're talking about let's watch out for the taxpayers. Let's go through line by line by line.
Right.
How much waste do you think could possibly be found in Hernando County?
I would say a decent amount. We get so passive with just approving and going. I got a couple ideas about that too, but I want to commend Commissioner Amsler for being the newcomer and having the foresight to take it on and do it. Say, let's do it, because they'll say, you're new, you need to learn. But when you're elected, you're not elected to learn. You're elected to. The voters are electing you to step up to the plate and lead. Right. So he's seen an opportunity, which is great. And I think every idea that's submitted by each individual member doesn't necessarily have to be my idea. Working with the board, I'm going to find a way to support Commissioner Amsler and improve his idea, because it was a great idea. The citizens loved it. And I would like to also see our citizens empowered more, because we have a lot of knowledgeable and talented citizens in this county. If we could give them just an opportunity to show their skills and abilities and help us out.
Right.
I want to increase that morale amongst the citizens, that they have a voice, they have say when it comes to anything in the county.
Yeah. So Marvin, what do you think about the fact that not many people come to the BOCC meetings? And do you believe that, two questions. Do you believe that they should change at least a couple of the meetings each month to evening hours, where citizens will be working citizens who pay taxes will have an opportunity to come watch and be and be interactive and be a part of their local government? That's question number one. Number two, do you think that that is harming and that is allowing the current, not all of them, but certain agenda items to be just pushed through without any feedback from the community?
I think, in my opinion, I would do everything within legal confines to increase citizens' engagement, because a well-informed citizen is very dangerous, and dangerous to the government. And it's our job to protect the citizens from the government, right? So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to any feedback or different options, different schedules that we could implement to give citizens a better opportunity to engage. I would definitely be open to it, because they come first, we work for them. So let's get creative, be receptive to the feedback, and let's find a way for the people that's working, or whatever your scheduling may be, let's give you an opportunity to come be present in your government. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, because when you think about it, I mean, again, like you mentioned earlier, you're elected to represent your constituents of your district.
Correct.
And if they have no say, how do you know how they feel about an agenda item you're voting on?
Correct. Correct. And I think too, it goes step further, that we can do a lot more as elected officials to go seek out the citizens. So instead of them having to always come to the BOCC, do some things independently in the community. Like I said, within the confines. But get creative and show that intentionally you want to increase engagement. So if that's set up a town hall meeting every week, or start developing these different relationships with organizations, restaurants, business owners in the community, just to raise the level of participation and raise the level of conversation.
And that's a great statement, and I think it's going to help you when you do run again.
What do you need to help you get elected?
So basically, it's just the citizens have to get to a point where they show that they are fed up with what's going on, and understand that evaluate each candidate independently, look at the facts, meet with them, take an opportunity to meet with them, engage with them, learn what they're about.
To be willing to
what
meet
policies.
with these people, right?
Oh,
He
yeah.
has.
I'll meet with any.
His campaign, when
So
he
do
was
they call you,
face to
email
face.
you? How do
Yeah,
they?
I
wanna know.
tried. I tried everything. I went door to door.
Okay.
I gave them my cell phone number, email, went to numerous communities events, and just any way I could get feedback from.
Jay, just so you know, when he did his
No,
campaign,
that's what I'm at. I'm trying to see how I can get this guy elected.
when he did his campaign, I'm telling you, it's almost like the 2020 election with Trump, who obviously won but didn't win.
Yeah, all right.
It's like he won, but because of the crap that they put him through, it put him. It just wasn't fair. But he put so much work into his
That's what I
case
wanna know.
every
Yeah, I
day, all the
Oh, yeah.
time, on the
Oh, yeah.
streets, in
Okay.
every neighborhood
Yeah.
in his district,
Yeah.
meeting, talking,
Yeah.
sweating. I've met him.
Yeah.
I mean, just pouring sweat. So I know
All right,
he
that's
put a lot.
That's
into
what we
that.
want, right?
Yeah. So
of
yeah,
course.
basically,
That's
I
what
would.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would go to duty, at the station, work 24 hours, get off, bring all my clothes, everything with me, go door knock, go home, kiss the kids, lay down, wake up again the next morning, go door knock, go to events. So yeah, I was
Every day
I was
you're
hitting it hard. Yeah, because I learned as a kid, that nothing beats hard work.
Right.
Right. Nothing beats hard work. So if you want something, regardless of what that venture, business idea, certification degree, whatever that may be, the only thing is standing between you and that goal is hard work. Mm-hmm. So throughout my life, I've taken hard work and applied it to everything I did. Mm-hmm. And I have been like 90. This is the only time that hard work didn't prevail.
So that's about all the time we have, Marvin.
right.
Unless you have something, last words or anything.
Yeah,
for
no,
No, I would
anyone?
just say, I'm excited for America and where we're heading politically. Trump is in office. He won the popular vote, and America sent the message that they're just tired of all the things the left was presenting.
Yeah.
I mean, overwhelmingly won election. And I would like to see on the local level, we bring that same energy, those same sentiments, and start to take back our local government. Because like I said, we the people is not a mistake, and the government is answerable to the people. And, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all those things is what's enshrined in, the Bill of Rights, Constitution, all those things is what we need to get back to the basics, stay vigilant, stay vigilant, and let's take back over local level too.
So we basically, and I'm going to say it, I think Trump is probably the best president this country's ever had.
Agreed.
And I
Agreed.
mean not to say anything negative about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, but those were different times. Right. So
Modern
they were
day
great
president. Modern day president.
They were great presidents for their time, but our time, 200 years later,
100%.
Trump has absolutely proven to be a president who
He's going to bring around a revolution,
represents the people.
a revolution of
Right.
what we need. We're getting too sloppy and silly in this country.
Well,
He's
now
gonna-
that's going
He's going to
away.
bring us back to normalcy.
Anyways, that's all the time we got. So I just want to say thank you to Marvin Baynham.
No
He's
problem, no
going
problem.
to run again, and we're gonna, we hope you're successful.
All right,
this
sounds good.
time you were successful last time, but it's just gonna be different this time. And I want to thank our producer Jay Fernandez.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. Anyways, we'll catch you next week on Get Real.